Hello, 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 paranormal fanatics. I hope you're doing well on this wonderful Saturday night. Um, Hopefully, the weather hasn't hit you guys too much. We're lucky, and worst part bypassed us. If you could hear me, give me a thumbs up so I know I'm not just talking to a screen. And yes, it wouldn't be a show if I wasn't late there, Mr. Leefoot. Only bus driver in the world that's always late for everything else but his job. And I'm late there too, but hey, who knows? Jason, don't team up on me now. Don't start doing all that. So we have a wonderful show tonight. We're just gonna kind of wing it. I had a bunch of notes that I wrote down, but turned out they were recipes for new beer, so I don't think they want to answer questions about that. So without further ado, let's bring on Glenn.
Hey.
How you doing, Glenn?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Is that music a little too loud?
I can hear it.
Knock it down just a tad so people don't worry about yelling over us or whatever. And Mario. How do you pronounce that?
Mario, that's fine.
Mario is fine? Okay. So, gentlemen, how you doing tonight?
Just living the dream.
That's right.
Me too. Yeah, long day at work today, so I kind of figure it'd be a good day to just kind of wing it. And, we all love wings, right?
You were working today?
I worked all day today, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I see they're already teaming up on me there.
Yeah, I see this.
Those are a couple members of WASP. They love to kind of jump in and give me a hard time. Not to support me. No. We can't have that.
Gotta keep you on the toes.
No doubt. Jason says, I just hope 92.3 Gold will want to interview us again after Scott's delay. Yeah, I'm late on just about everything. Local radio station around the Halloween time likes to interview us 2 years now. This time we're about 15 minutes late getting signed in and getting everything together because they do Zoom. And so, sometimes things happen, right?
No problem at all. Viewing is supporting. There we go.
That is true. So let's keep this a quick and simple start. If you guys will start, say, Glenn, introduce yourself, what role you are in your team.
Sure. My name is Glenn Laycock, and I'm the founder and director of Canadian Paranormal Investigations. I've been actually involved in the paranormal world. I think this will be coming up on about 14 years now. And the team that we have together right now, I started about 2 years ago. Before that, I had another team, and then before that, I was with another group. So I've been kicking around for quite a while, I just love it. I think the biggest thing with us is we really enjoy just being able to help people who are having experiences and they just can't explain them. We don't do a lot of public investigations. Most of what we do is private residential. And that's just by choice. There's no reason other than, people do public investigations. That's fantastic. It's just sort of not what we're about. It's just, that's sort of where we're from with this.
Just not your cup of tea. And yourself, Mario?
I'm an investigator on the team. I'm also an intuitive. I've been on a previous team in my past. I've had experiences all my life with this sort of phenomena. If it's not shadow figures, it's visions, and it's not that. Let's even go as far as say there's been an odd UFO or two. I think it's Glen's favorite thing: orbs.
No. We do have a bit of a rule: we don't do orbs. Although it's still a bit of a discussion topic with our team. But I'm on the anti-orb side of the argument, and other people are on the orb side. So
all right. Nice. And for those that remember, Glenn has been here before, and so even though he introduced himself as if this was his first time, which is the best way to do it, it's been about 2 years ago. We were talking just a few minutes ago about that you've been on, and so I welcome you back, Mario. I don't think you were here last time, correct?
No, this is my first time.
Okay.
Yeah, Mario's been with us for what do we know, about 3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 3 months now.
Okay. Unless you're a time traveler or a hacker, you weren't here before.
Oh, there's so many of those these days, right?
But we're giving Mario the introduction to the paranormal investigation world. When you're new, it's like the best places to buy coffee for the team while we're doing investigation, where to get the best munchies, all that sort of thing. We're starting them off right.
Who's the best one to bring donuts with the coffee as opposed to the ones that don't have no pull? I get that.
We've never done that to them, but it is a bit of a running joke.
I lost you.
So is that my internet kind of bumping up and messing up?
I think that's Mario's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm hardwired in, but our weather here is a little real windy. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I'm wired in as well, so it's kind of weird what's going on.
You're fine.
You're good now, Mario.
Just if you cut in and out, we'll deal with it as the night goes on, right? So since you brought up orbs, we'll just jump right into that topic real quick because I have been seeing that a lot lately about orbs are not paranormal and orbs are not this and this and that. And Lee, one of the co-founders, are saying orbs are dust. Now, do you believe that's the case 100% of the time, or do you guys believe there's more to that?
I'm going to say probably 99% of the time it's dust. Every once in a while you get something where you go, oh, okay. But I always tell people that I could take a pillow into a location and I could make that look so haunted that you wouldn't want to go in there if you believe that orbs were spirits just by smack. I actually did a demonstration recently at a residential investigation because I had some team members going, "Oh, look at the orbs," and I said, "Hang on a sec, I'll be right back." And I went and I smacked a pillow in the room, and I came back and we had our viewers set up, and they were like, "Okay, okay."
Thanks for letting us breathe in dead skin now.
Exactly.
See, I'm on the fence a little bit, but not too far from where Glenn is. But I think with orbs, you have to have a certain characteristic. It can't just be, literally what you see as a dust orb floating in the air. It has to have some sort of flight pattern, some sort of intelligence, and there has to be interaction. If you're hearing noises and this thing is interacting, creating these noises or giving off light, that might be a genuine orb, an energy orb, not these things that are only captured on night vision. And if it's emitting light, you might have something.
Correct. I agree. Jay says, "Yeah, a lot of steaming to you." Hello, this is my daughter-in-law, Christine.
Hey, how you doing, Christine?
Hi, Christine.
Yeah, I kind of do, like a deformed heart. This is my heart. How you doing, Stephen? I hope you're doing well tonight. Thanks for tuning in again. Stephen's been watching the page for a long time. I didn't realize how long ago he joined the Facebook page. It's probably been 10 years now or so.
Yeah.
So
I saw recently you're on TikTok now as well.
I'm what?
You're on TikTok as well, I think now, aren't you?
I am. So I'm sorry, my mind went. I hear phone ringing, so you're always like, oh, what? But yeah, I started TikTok. Clapper is another platform, and Caffeine or something like that. There's thanks, Stephen. There's several platforms, and I just don't have that time and energy to really put much into that stuff. So it's kind of a shame because I'd like to do more,
Yeah.
but having a full-time job and things like that just takes a lot of that.
Yeah, and we're all in that boat. Like all of us, like, wouldn't it be great to be able to do this full time but I mean, we're all working full time careers, and then and then that's what makes it tough when you have a team. If you get an investigation, like try to get everybody off the same day or everybody off the same evening, because we'll end up going through. You've seen this, Mary. We'll probably get going through like half a dozen days before we get one where, okay, we got everybody or we got almost everybody. Let's go with it. That's just part of it. Every team has the same problem with that.
And you have to take the client if they're available on that day, then too.
Or everybody's available in a small location, and you're like, okay, I can't use everybody in this. So, yeah, I fully understand.
Well, we got one coming up in 2 weeks, a residential case, and hey, Judy, that's our friend Judy. She runs. She's the founder and director of Spirit Hunters Ontario, and she's absolutely got an amazing team. She is so
nice.
So
I'll have to check them out. If you'll be so kind to send me a link and message or something.
I will. And
hello, Judy. Welcome.
Judy is she's like the coolest person. Actually, she's the one who introduced Mario to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are the newest member of the team. How have they been treating you so far?
I'm still trying to get the images out of my head. You know, that initiation ceremony was different, man.
Nice. Sorry. One of the problems with mustaches, you gotta wipe off when you take a drink. Should be drinking out of a straw, right?
Last time I was clean shaven.
Yeah, with my job, I probably should be as well. Now, what drawn, and you guys could answer in any way you'd like in order, what drew you guys to the paranormal?
You want me to go first, Mario?
Yeah, go for it.
What got me into it is the house that I'm presently sitting in. We purchased this house about 14, coming on 15 years ago now. That's why I say I've been doing this for about 14 years. And I've never believed in this sort of thing. There's no such thing as paranormal, no such thing as ghosts. I'd laugh about it. And then the first night that we were here, I had a door get slammed in my face. Oh. And then it went on from there. We were hearing voices. Things being moved. The tablecloth off the table was a great one. Like the tablecloth would be ripped off the table, and all the items would still be on the table. The cloth would be on the floor. We'd come home from work. We'd find our kitchen chairs moved into our dining room chairs moved into the kitchen. We'd have company over, and they would say, "Is there TV on downstairs?" Don't worry about it, because you could hear conversations going on in the basement. And I reached out to 3 different paranormal groups. 2 of them said, "Ask, probably nothing. Don't worry about it." didn't even bother to check out, And then the third one, all they did was they put me in touch with a TV show. So that's why I got into it, is because I know what it's like to be going through something and have no one believe you. And I thought, okay, well, so I started acquiring equipment. I would be doing stuff at my own home, which I found out later was a bit of a mistake because it really stirred things up. Not a good idea. And then from there, I actually did hook up with a team. Then I co-founded a team, and after a couple of years, we folded that team, and then I formed the team that I currently have now. And so, and that's why we kind of stick to private residential stuff, because I do know what it's like to not know who to turn to. So somebody just asked, do you see a private res? Have you seen a drop off in opportunities?
Yeah, I'll pop that up.
Well, I'm going to say what we did is during the height of COVID, we actually did shut it down ourselves for probably in the middle of it, for about 6 months. We just said, okay, enough. We were reaching out and we were talking to people, but we just thought, I'm not going to put our team at risk, and I'm not going to put people that we're going into, I'm not going to put them at risk of us bringing COVID into their home, because I had a really bad experience with COVID. I actually caught it. I brought it home. My wife caught it, She lost her taste. I had zero symptoms. She lost her taste and smell for about 6 weeks, but my wife's mother, who was living with us at the time, she caught it and she passed away within 6 days. So I was not about to put anywhere else into that risk. So we just shut it down for a few months.
My sympathies.
Thank you.
Definitely. Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. Mario, No, you're fine. The question popped up. I like interacting with people in the chat as well, so perfect. Mario, what brought you into the paranormal?
Well, I had experiences when I was a child at my parents' place. So I would see shadows out. It always would begin, the corner of your eye saw the shadow. And it would progress from there. And I would wake up and see the figure of this face with the beard and whatnot just hovering over me, and it would have like this green glow behind it. And I didn't know what to make of that. That was just the weirdest thing. I thought, is this just my waking state? At this point, I was into the paranormal, but not knowing anything about it. So later on, I would research, and I'm reading about entities that would want to enter your body, and people encounter them staring over your sleeping body. Mm-hmm. And I think back to that now. Is that what was going on here? Was this male entity trying to do that? But that's what started it for me. And then I had encounters with my grandfather after he passed as well.
Simply. So, do you guys feel that it's better to start off just jumping into like your local cemeteries or finding a team or whatnot, or do you think it's better to research and learn and grow before you kind of jump into things?
You mean to jump into the actual field of the paranormal, or to jump into a case?
The field, to start off. I wouldn't recommend anybody no experience just go on their own and start like residentials or businesses and such, because you can put yourself in danger as well as the clients.
One thing as far as jumping into a case, and I think I drive my team members crazy, is I'm kind of like the watchdog for the team. I'm constantly working the room, like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Because I'm constantly just keeping tabs on people in case something overwhelms somebody. But we absolutely, before we do a case, I try to get as much information as we can. We're actually going to have a meeting this week, Mario. It's coming up.
Yeah, I noticed now.
I'm very, very big on finding out what you're going to get yourself into. And sometimes you just don't know. I mean, you get a client, and they give you basic information because they don't know what's going on. All they know is something happening. And I've walked into a few that you just were not expecting. When you get there, you go, wow, okay, this was, I was the way it was described to me. I was thinking this is going to be disproved. It's going to be like animals in the attic, and it turns out like, wow, this is scary. What's going on here? We had one like that recently down in Toronto, and I felt something jab me through the shoulder. Like it was just like a hook through my shoulder, and it was horrible.
Wow.
That was a pretty dramatic circumstances we found out once we got into it. So yeah, it's you try to prepare, but you can't always be prepared.
True. Yeah, I fully agree.
And I think I have the record on the team for being the person who gets smacked and poked the munch.
Oh, thank God. It's not going to be me.
No, I've had people stand beside me, and you just hear a whack, and they go, "What was that?" It's like, don't worry about it. Something just hit me in the back. We're fine.
I think maybe I suggest you go and sit behind the monitors for a few cases. Say over the two-way. Anybody there with feel free to touch them or something.
That's right. And I don't know why that is. We have some people on the team that just say like I'm sort of like a magnet for that sort of stuff. So, and that's fine. My
thought, if I'm able to put that view out, is you are the founder, right?
Yes.
You're the one that's viewed as the lead, and you're the one checking on everybody. So if they could freak you out and scare you, then the rest of the team would be freaked out and scared.
Yeah. Well, I have an amazing EVP that I can't share because that's the thing. Most of the stuff that we have, we just can't share on our site because it is private. It's personal to the clients.
Hmm.
And I've got an amazing EVP where after that thing jabbed me through the shoulder, uh, I said, um, I said, let's make something clear. You are not allowed to touch anyone on our team. Do you understand? And a male voice came back and said, okay.
Oh, nice.
But I can't share it because it's private to the client. So that's part of our deal is we just don't have very seldom have stuff we can share because people are embarrassed a lot of times when they call you to their home and say, hey, can you come and help us out? And for us to go and publish that stuff on our page, it's just not right. So we do agree that we will not share anything on our page without consent of the client. So, I mean, I've got hours of stuff I could be posting, but we can't.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
which could be frustrating sometimes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Have you went back and asked them if you could post that? And that's pretty cool that you're a tour guide as well, especially in a Civil War site. That's pretty cool. But have you gone back and asked, hey, this EVP is really good. Do you mind if I put that out there?
Yeah, I have, and they've said really appreciate if you didn't. It's like, okay, no problem.
Okay.
I get it, and that's it. I don't bug. I mean, I might go back one time and just say, hey, what about this one? And I'll send it to them first. And the odd time somebody will say, yeah, sure. But most of the time they just say, no.
Right.
And that's fine. And I totally get it as a person who lived in a home like that and had people laugh at us when we first were telling people, hey, there's something going on here. I get how people can be embarrassed by that. And it is a personal experience. So I'm totally cool with that.
And and it sounds like we're along the same lines of views. Is we're in this not only for a little enjoyment and learning, but primarily to help people out, figure things out in their homes, not to have shows and things like that.
Yeah, like the thing that I have an issue with is like if you have a site where you get like 100 teams a year going to this site doing an investigation. That's not paranormal investigation anymore. That's ghost hunting, and if there is such a thing as a trapped or tormented spirit, do I want to be one of those teams that's poking it with a stick every weekend, going, "Hey, are you there? Are you here?" It just doesn't sit right with me.
I believe I asked this of you last time, and I'll ask both of you this because I think I vaguely remember your answer was, let me think of. My mind's going quicker than my mouth is.
I know that problem.
The terms I don't feel are interchangeable, but you say paranormal investigators / the other is ghost hunting.
Yeah.
What makes you think that a lot of paranormal teams are not ghost hunters as opposed to paranormal investigators?
If you've already had a bunch of teams check out a site and they've already got all their data from that site, is it an investigation anymore where you can just call up another team and say, what'd you find?
Okay.
And again, I'm not criticizing. Please don't ever think I'm criticizing. I'm not. I'm just saying it's not our thing. It's not, to me, that's if you're going to a place that is active and you're going, and yeah, that's ghost hunting. You know it's active. You know all these other teams have been there. You just want to go get it. That's going for the thrill of doing it. And honestly, I love it. That's fun. It's a hoot going to an active location. I totally get it. But that's not an investigation. That is strictly you're hunting for ghosts.
And Mario?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's basically the intent that's behind it. You gotta remember these spirits or whatever we're dealing with, because at the end of the day, we're investigators. We don't have the final answer on this. Whatever it is we're dealing with allegedly could have been people. So the ones going out there hunting ghosts, what's the difference between that entity being a ghost then and a person? You're going human hunting if that's the case, and that would be frowned upon. you know, would we put people in a zoo so that we could throw at them?
I never looked at it from that angle, but okay.
Now, see, where I differ from many people in my personal view of paranormal investigator slash, as opposed to ghost hunting, is or ghost hunters in my view is I believe I'm more of a ghost hunter than I am paranormal investigator, and in the sense I'm using the definition of the words as opposed to the activity,
right?
Because I'm not out there actively seeking UFOs. I'm not out there actively seeking cryptids and things like that. Though I do research them a little bit, so if something does come up.
See, where I look at it is with investigation is what we're doing a lot of times is if somebody's experiencing something, we're trying to give them validation. Are you actually experiencing that? Or we're trying to disprove it. And a lot of times, a good 90% of the time, we're disproving it, if not more than that. We're disproving it. And so, there's animals in your attic, or it's bad plumbing, or something like that. So that to me that's evidence gathering. So when you're evidence gathering,
You're investigating
before, that's an investigation. And I'll tell you, like, there's a lot of times. Have you ever? Okay, I'm going to ask you this. Have you noticed that if you go to somebody's place and you disprove it? Have you ever had anybody get very upset at you for disproving it?
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure every team that's been there for more than a year has as well.
Yeah.
PPR says, to me, it's about the history. It goes hand in hand. I tell people learn the history as years investigating. Definitely. Yeah, and that's very true. Learning the history is a good part. I feel that teams should have one or two people who learn the history of it, do the investigation, then get together, compare the history with what you found, and then go from there.
Yeah, and also if the history is available, because what I found, especially with the residential, there's not a lot of back history. You'll ask the person, well, who lived here before? Well, I have no idea. Do you know anything about the history of the property? No. And then try to go to a local township and get any history of a property. Nothing. Absolutely. If it's a public building, that's different. You're going to get a lot of history. But if it's a private residence, you're not going to get much more than what the existing family that lives there knows. That's
right.
You might get the history of the area, but you're not going to get the history of that particular build.
Yeah.
And sometimes the area, knowing the area's history can make a difference.
Yeah, you will get that. But yeah, I mean, there's like we're doing one coming up in the next while, and we did find out that previously to people that are there were two people that were stabbed and murdered there.
Oh wow!
So, and that was just through talking to their neighbors.
Wow, that's something.
So, yeah, so that should be an interesting one.
That's the reason for haunting.
Yeah, I would say so. If there's any reason, that would be one. And now I'm going to take a moment to shamelessly plug my stuff.
Sure.
If you guys have made it this far into the show, please take a moment to subscribe to the YouTube channel or the Facebook page, whatever you're watching from, and a like as well, if you'll be so kind to do that. And that's probably the last time I'll mention that in this show. So thanks for sticking with me as I did that. I gotta get used to doing that kind of stuff. I don't ever do that, or when I do, it's like at the very end of the show, which is fine. But at that point, people are clicking off and going their own way and doing their own stuff.
I've got this shared onto our page as well.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I really do. And feel free to use this video as any way you feel the need to.
Thank you.
I think you guys could pull it. I might have not done it, and if I didn't, I'm sorry. I'll get you the video if you want it. But this StreamYard should let you upload it or download it to your computers. So
okay,
that's another thing I gotta start asking people if they want, because that's a newer option. It's good for different teams to investigate a location, even if it's popular, because it's still a learning experience for new people or for anyone that enjoys historical places. you don't always get proof. Very true. So,
Yeah, that is true.
so it's branching off of that, do you guys been to a place once, twice, maybe 3 times, and then have nothing those times, but keep going back, and then end up in the last time
One
receiving anything?
location that I've been to twice, and that basically we had an opportunity to go back because it was a very active location the first time. We were the only team that's ever been allowed on the property, and they did ask us to come back. So that was one of the first times I ever tried sensory deprivation,
Oh, okay.
which was very interesting, especially watching the video afterwards, because I guess I was answering questions, or I was just saying whatever popped into my head, and
Right.
most of what I was saying was a direct answer to the questions that were being asked that I couldn't hear. So that was kind of cool. And I did when it was happening with my eyes covered. I was actually following. They said, "Well, you're moving your head around." I said, "Yeah, I was following a woman that was floating around in front of me."
Oh,
And
wow.
so, but that was an interesting location. So I've been to that one twice, and it was simply, and that's another one of those locations where they said, "Yeah, we want you back, but you can't publish anything." Okay, fine, no problem.
Do you think that happens a lot in Canada as opposed to the States?
I don't know. That's a good question. The reason I can share this part of it. The reason that they didn't want it shared is because it is a church, and it was an active church, still working church, and so they didn't want the people who attend that church to think, "Hey, this building's haunted."
Yeah, that would be an interesting quandrum there. That's for sure.
Well, getting permission to get into a church, that's usually a no-no. Like a working church, that's a no-no getting in. So for us to get it, and the reason that they invited us in is it was more just for validation to things that the staff was experiencing when they're like the staff that works there.
Now, I've asked a couple questions now, and we're kind of skipping along without asking you, Mario, any views on this stuff, or if you can remember some of the things I've asked?
You briefly touched on cryptids and UFOs and things like that, and I said to Glenn the first time I met him, be ready, because when you put your foot in one world, you start to find it's all one big mess. Because you mentioned you were interested in UFOs as well, so I haven't told you, Glenn. So last night, was it last night or the night before? My neighbor came up to me and was saying, "Oh, I've got this great picture of a UFO. I'm pretty sure." So she sends me this.
Oh, here, yeah, Jupiter and Venus.
Exactly.
Where they converted together. Okay.
Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, look, there's Darth Vader inside." I'm like, okay, but I thought I'd put the first instance of it being Jupiter and Venus aside. Go on, Gaia.
So you were able to.
Yeah, so I recreated the picture. I waited the next day to see what's in the sky. I looked at records and saw what was in the sky at the time that she said it was there. And I already knew what I was looking at anyway. But just to provide that answer as well is different.
Well, now down here in the States, we have something, and it might be the same there. I'm not sure, and you guys might be able to tell me if there is or not. But a thing called MUFON. Yeah. So I don't have to spell it out. So I believe it's worldwide.
It is.
Yeah.
Have you talked to any of those guys, or?
I have not, Mario. That's more your area.
There's one actual local Canadian investigator, UFO investigator, called Ryan Stacy. I've not spoken to him a lot, but I have exchanged words with him. MUFON, I'm not sure if he's a part of MUFON. But
that name sounds familiar, though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why.
He is a UFO investigator, and he does track daily reports as well.
So if he's not part of MUFON, he's probably connected with talking to him,
I think he's more independent.
which is fine. They have many people they network with and so forth. It was kind of neat. They reached out to us, and we weren't able to connect to be part of their group. But I was talking to one of the higher ups in the States division. I'm on the phone with them and such, and I wish I remember his name. Anyways, it's been about 7 years now. So I get off the phone with him. About an hour or so later, I have it on the History Channel. Wouldn't you know, I hear his voice on the History Channel. I'm like, what? Wait a second. So I go and look, and I want to say John Venture, something along those lines. Anyways, sure enough, there he is with his name popped up like we have our names. I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Just got off the phone with the guy that's on TV. But
this, what is it? Oh,
my little brush of fame. So now that I brought up the different, the states again and Canada, do you feel there's more of acceptance of the paranormal in Canada, or do you believe it's more in the States?
I think it's pretty much the same. What I do find a lot of, and I don't know if this happens, if you find this down in the U.S., is if I'm at a function or something, and somebody finds out that this is what I do, they'll go, oh, so you'll usually have one or two people go, that's just ridiculous. But then they'll get you alone, and they'll go,
no.
So I had something like happened to me one time, and it happens every time. It's like when they're in front of a group, oh, that's just ridiculous. That's silliness until they get you alone. So
right.
What would you do if? And I don't know if you've noticed that at all down in the States, but that's the general thing that I get all the time.
I'll be honest with you. I think they're more open here as far as, maybe just where I'm at, I should say. They, like a state fair, they probably wouldn't be so quick, but just a general 15, 20 people right out in the open. Like I'll have, you might have heard me say that I'm a bus driver. I'll have people just start talking about it in the middle of the run, just strangers around them, and it's like, okay.
Well, I know, like I work with a company down in Toronto, and I've had clients that in the past that have said, "Hey, can you come in for a meeting?" And I went into the boardroom, and I'm thinking this is a work thing, and they'll all sit around and, okay, so let's put that aside for a bit. So tell us some stories about what you're doing. Really? Like I'm all the way down to Toronto, downtown Toronto for this? Okay. So I always kind of joke with some of my clients now. I just say, well, we try to provide the complete service. We do our own company service. Plus, we look after any type of haunting you might have.
We'll even turn down the beds if need be.
That's right. We'll even leave a mint on the pillow. I mean, so.
Now, you're being newer into the paranormal. Has that affected you? People around you starting to talk to you more about it, or?
Mara?
Is that me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's been in this for 14 years. He's been in it longer than I have. I've been in it for about 12, going towards 13.
I've sort of experienced it all my life, so. But I guess the investigation side's fairly new.
No, how are people reacting to you more that you're getting into it more?
I still have that. Okay, today was a good example. Because I was in a thrift store and because I'm intuitive as well, I sort of had this feeling. And you gotta think to yourself, okay, I feel something. Something's not right here. My wife was even saying the same thing. And I was like, how do you go about bringing this subject up to someone without them thinking, oh, here we go. He's doolally, he's gone nuts, and now I'm in danger, So I just asked, do you ever experience anything weird in the store or something like that? And she turns to me and she's like, yeah, I do. It turns out the person I was talking to was the daughter of one of the teammates that I have never met.
Oh,
I didn't even know she worked at the store, and she hasn't met me yet, so she doesn't know who I was either.
that's quite the coincidence, huh?
Yeah, I've actually been kind of pestering her to see if they can let us come into that store and do it and check it out, because I look at a thrift store and most of the items, not most of them, but a good chunk of items that are in a thrift store are from estates that have been liquidated, and you have to wonder what kind of is there anything attached to those items? Is there anything going on in those stores? I just would love an opportunity to get into a store like that. So far, no luck, but we're working on it.
Oh, I was asking as well. So
There you go.
yeah. I picked this little gizmo up today just to see if I can do anything with it to make it a sensor or something.
Simon Says.
Yeah.
I never seen one like that before, but the color patterns, I'm like, yeah, I know that.
You know what I really want to try is there's Judy that was on here earlier. She set up this. Have you ever seen you've seen plasma globes? Okay, we actually use those in investigations as almost like an EMF pump, because they bring up the energy level in a room. I've had success with those. But what she's doing is she's right beside it is putting a fluorescent light bulb, and the EMF off the globe will light up the light bulb. But if you touch the globe, the light bulb will flicker.
Oh, really? See, I never knew that.
So she's setting it up now. She's going to try it, and she's going to let me know. But she's going to set it up at an investigation. So she's going to have them sit there with the light on, and invite in to touch it and see if that light starts to flicker. I'm dying to find how that works, and I'm just thinking. I think I'm just going to try it myself.
Now, Lee, you just heard that. You have a plasma ball thing.
You know, I've investigated with people in the past where they'll say, if you want to take any of my energy, and it's like, no, are you kidding? No way. But if you put a globe out there and say, if you need any energy, you can take it from there. Because if you put a K2 or gauge meter next to a plasma globe, it lights up like a Christmas tree.
I guess I never thought of that.
Yeah, so I learned that from a team in England. They use them all the time, and they said they had a great success with them. So I've got 3 of them now, and I will position them in different rooms and just to bring up the energy level. And honestly, it could be my imagination, but I find it works.
And they're damn cool to look at.
What's that?
They look good. They look really cool. Yeah, they look really cool on your video as well. So,
Yeah, and that's the whole thing about what we do. We're learning and growing this field by every little thing we do. Like, I like to hook up my spirit box with one of those little $10 FM transmitters to like the car stereo or to some kind of speaker system. The biggest thing I've done, and people that watch this show is probably tired of hearing a bit about it, but when our local mall was an actual mall and not a strip mall, I hooked up the spirit box to the PA system, turn it down low, and let that fill up the mall with the white noise for about a half hour or so before we went into the building.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and that did pick up some activity for us.
Yeah.
But but my point is finding different ways to do things that might seem either like, what kind of sense does that make, or whatnot. That's what we do is we see, okay, this has been working, this hasn't been working.
It's all about trying new things, and I've seen some people that are just getting into it, and some of the ideas that they have for trying stuff, I commend it. I think it's fantastic. Do I agree with all of it? No, but I commend their ingenuity, and
Right.
Some things I'll look at and go, okay, I'm going to give that a shot. Other things I go, I wouldn't try that in a million years. But I'm never going to condemn them for it or criticize them for it, because I think it's fantastic. I love the innovation.
And you never know, work
Exactly.
not work, might not work for 1,000 places, but that 1,001 place, that right spirit or whatever, click with it, and there you go.
Like the cat balls, when people started using those, they're fantastic. Have you tried those yet?
Yeah, just recently we picked them up and tried some. As a matter of fact, I got a set of 9 of them I had $20 in Amazon credit. I was like, what else am I going to do with that? Because $20 don't get you much nowadays. So, and then I'm counting at the end of the night, and we lost a couple. And I'm like, can't figure out where the heck they went, but what's 2 out of 9,
Yeah.
And about 3 o'clock in the morning or so, I think it was closer to 5 in the morning. We left the place around 3:34. We get a message from one of the members. Hey, I got them in my pocket. We'll get them to you. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, so to answer your question, yes, we tried them.
Yeah. Now I'm really I have a hard time with apps, with phone apps. I look at them and go, no, I can't do them. And every time I see a phone app, what I see remember Pokemon Go when it came out?
Mm-hmm.
And that was designed so you would see monsters and creatures all over the place. And every time I see a phone app, I just think of Pokemon Go, and I think, well, you know what? They're not going to sell that app unless it does produce something. And I can't do it. I just can't do it. And some teams are doing it. Hey, that's fine. Fill your boots. I'm not going to say you're silly for doing that. Hey, try it. Doesn't matter to me. I won't. I can't do it. I just cannot do phone apps.
I would like to put an addendum to that. Google Conversation. I've used it and gotten some interactions with it.
Google Conversation. Okay, this is new. Okay, what do you do?
And I haven't used it in a long time, so I don't quite remember how to get to it, or else I'd explain it to it. But how kind of like Google Translate in that there's a way to make it to where you could say something in English and it'll translate to German, Spanish, whatever, listen for a response, and then it'll play it back, So if, say, you're speaking French, I could use it, and we could go back and forth.
Okay, all right, yeah, that I can see that. And it's funny because I've had people say to me, well, how come your spirits only communicate in English? And I say, well, no, that's not the case. I mean, so if you got a translating app, that's a great idea. I know I recorded an amazing EVP once, and it turned out it was a Ojibwe.
The Ojibwe.
Yeah, native Indian.
Oh, okay.
And it was some land that had been sold off, and a subdivision had been built there. And we were recording, and we were saying, "Are you from here? Was this your land?" And we didn't hear it at the time. We played it back, and it was a deep voice that went "Donkey." Mm-hmm. And at our local school, they teach Ojibwe. So I sent it to her. I said, "Is this something because where we were?" And she said, "Oh yeah, that's Ojibwe for I am here or I am from." And so yeah, I mean, so if you're using a translating app, that's fantastic. That's a great idea.
Yeah, if I go into place and I'm not trying to do the conversation side, I will do Google Translate, especially if I know the history and that goes back to knowing the history of the area. Say, like, there's a lot of Dutch settlers around here, so I'll say, hello, anybody here in Dutch, and see if we can catch something back on recorders. So, something you guys could try.
Yeah, I'm actually going to keep that one in mind because I never thought of that. Like I'm talking to more like
the spirit boxes
and making stones glow, and they're going, "Oh, okay, hang on a second, there's a ghost there." It's like, no, come on, no.
Ghost radar.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
But yeah, so hopefully that helps you guys out. Let me know about that if you guys get experience with that. Now, let's turn this to a different view. Now, I don't know how many cases you've been on personally, but what? So let's start with that for you, Mario. Have you been on any yet, or?
Oh, I've been on several so far.
Okay.
With this team and the previous team as well.
Okay. Yeah. So, this is kind of like a two-part question. What's the one that comes to mind when you think of the funnest time you've had investigating, like, be it humorous, be it like just enjoyable, and as well as what's the one time that you really freaked out for whatever reason, be it paranormal or just kind of something caught you by surprise and kind of freaked you out?
Okay, so there was this one investigation where it was the first experience I had with SLS camera, and I never put my own feelings I never gave stock into them, but it felt like I could feel something that was next to me, and
Okay.
I was on the camera there, and I was reviewing all of this, and all I saw in the camera was the SLS, and there's me saying there's something here, and the figure is down below my hand. There's nothing on the back there. Sorry, my son just walked in. Yeah.
Normally, when my grandkids are here, they jump up and say hi and all that as well.
But yeah, that was my first real experience with that, and I've always been a bit skeptical about the SLS. If you're walking around, sorry, if you're walking around,
Hi.
Daddy,
okay, Alexander, please go. But yeah, the SLS. Yeah, sorry, I'll leave it at that for now.
He's playing Simon Says, right?
He's playing with some lights he's found. But yeah.
So that's interesting, indeed. And Len, you have anything on mind for that?
Yeah, I was actually going to share a story, but I can't right now because we have a youngster here.
Okay, I can't hear anything. It's all going through my headphones.
Oh, it's
I guess as far as being one of the more humorous things that ever had happened at an investigation,
are you laughing at me?
No, go on, Alexander, please.
No, we be wrong.
It's okay. I'll mute the mic.
Okay, so we were. It was at a bar and at a nightclub. Our investigation, and so we had the cat balls out, and I couldn't use the footage that I recorded because I couldn't stop laughing because the teammate that I had was leaned over these things and he's looking at them and he's going, "Can you touch my balls? Touch my balls, they'll glow. Can you touch them?" And I couldn't stop laughing. I'm in the background. All you hear on the camera is me going,
trying to be quiet.
and it was too bad because they went off. They did start to go, but all you could hear is me laughing. So we couldn't use the footage.
That's where you put careful editing of sound and all that, and kind of edit it just right.
And I had probably the scariest thing that I ever had happen was I was at a very active location one time, and we were getting like a lot of battery drain, and my camera just died within a couple of minutes, a fully charged battery. So I'm standing in the pitch darkness, and I'm changing the batteries on my camera, and one of my teammates in the pitch blackness walked up behind me and right in my ear, and she went, "Boo." And I almost fell over. It absolutely scared the hell out of me, and I almost fell over. And I said, "Don't you ever do that again." That's probably the scariest thing I've ever had happen at an investigation.
Nice. I don't mean to laugh, but yeah,
afterwards. But at the time, I was like, you're standing there by yourself in the pitch blackness, and right here, boom.
I get that. I've been scared by people that were alive more than I have been by the paranormal.
Yeah.
I remember one time in a factory we were investigating. We had a couple people in from the public, and to make a long story short, we were in the women's restroom of this factory. The factory's closed down. Yeah. No power to the building, really. And I stayed behind because I thought everybody else was leaving. And I figured, well, somebody in the team should be the last one out. And so I'm looking in the mirror in the bathroom, and I turn around, and like I said, I thought everybody was gone. There's this girl saying about 5'6", and I'm like, ah! Sounded like I should have been in the women's bathroom at that point. And I screamed and kind of jumped, and of course, me being a professional doing that scared the heck out of her. She starts screaming. Ah! A couple of people come running back in. What? I'm like, ah.
Yeah, I've noticed that mirrors in the dark are not a good thing.
Probably not.
Especially I don't. We're running an IR camera, and I actually posted the video for this one, but on our site. But I was panning around and it was in a change room at a it was like a dance club, and I was panning around, and all of a sudden I saw myself glowing green in the mirror, and almost had a heart attack. So you got mirrors are not your friend when you're doing paranormal investigation.
So, personal question: do they allow a lot of cameras at dance clubs and such over there in Canada? Or
well, that was a club. What had happened was they called us in, and they said the staff they were actually going to shut it down. It was going to be demoed. So the club itself was still intact. They called us in and they said the staff has been experiencing things for years. Would you guys be able to come in and validate anything that they've been experiencing? And just as we were talking, one of the carts shot across the kitchen and hit me in the hip. And I went, "Oh, you mean like this?" And he goes, "Yeah, like that." And I said, "Okay, this is going to be a good evening."
Now, is the lot empty still, or is something?
It's the building and everything gone.
Nothing there now.
No, they took it down. And
you ever thought about taking equipment there and seeing up there or something?
Oh, we took our equipment in, and we got a couple of decent EVPs. I got a great session recorded of yes and no questions using a K2.
I mean, as in on the empty property.
Oh no, no, because it's downtown Toronto, so they've already built on it.
Oh, okay.
It's downtown
That's
Toronto.
what I was asking. Yeah. If it was still empty, see if it was the building or the land.
Now we did get a voice recorded saying a date, and then we did find out afterwards that year of I think it was 1972, and in 1972 we found out that the maintenance guy had been stabbed to death on the sidewalk in front of the front door.
On that date.
And that was the date that we recorded. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was interesting.
Now, I must apologize because this just popped in my mind.
Sure.
And probably should have asked you to do this quicker in the show. But go ahead and tell people how to reach out to you guys and finding your stuff and such. And sure. I apologize that I didn't do it quicker.
No worries at all.
Busy chatting, enjoying this conversation that I didn't even pop in my head.
No problem. Our team's name is Canadian Paranormal Investigations. CanadianParanormalInvestigations.com or .ca is our website address. And if you go at Canadian Paranormal, you'll find us on Instagram.
And you guys are on TikTok too.
We are on TikTok as well. If you search up Canadian Paranormal on TikTok, Canadian Paranormal Investigations on TikTok, you'll find us.
And feel free to drop that information on a post on the Lost page, and I'll share it out as well.
Okay. No problem.
So those that are watching now, make sure that you drop on over to their sites and show them a little love. And while we're at it, if you're here now, if you'll do me a favor, drop the hashtag Team Live. If you're catching this in replay, drop the hashtag Team Replay. You know, that replay, the hashtag Team Replay kicks the Team Lives but every show.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
So I appreciate them coming back or watching the show during the replay because it has a different feel to it than as opposed to doing it live, that's for sure.
Well, I really appreciate the invite tonight.
I appreciate you jumping on, both of you guys. And I'm not ready to wrap this up unless you guys are.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Your button's great. So.
What's that?
What was that, Miro?
I was saying the mute button is a great feature.
Alexander's still there, is he?
Yeah, and having the headphones on, even though we're not saying nothing too much yet, but you never know. Yeah. The better half sometimes, if she isn't aware I'm on the show or the son or whatever, come out and might have a few choice words as they're saying something. And it's like,
oh, I saw that hashtag Flying Fedora.
I forgot anybody was here. You guys have been so quiet lately in the chat. And
that's what you should definitely use.
The Flying Fedora.
Yeah.
So as I'm running through questions in my mind, and I don't mean to say I'm crazy, but if you guys have any questions in the comment section, drop them, and feel free to ask, because I always love interacting with everybody, and you guys do as well as they come up. Now, how's the difference of the paranormal teams up there where you guys are? Do you find all the teams work well with each other? Do you think there's a division? Barely out of my mouth, and you're saying no.
We do our best to just kind of keep to ourselves. We've got there are some teams that we have fantastic relationships with. What I find is the teams that have been around for a long time tend to act like sheriffs to the community, and I have no time for it. I just have no time for that. So we just kind of keep to ourselves.
It's like that, the old guard.
Yeah. And I see that, and it's actually unfortunate. I see there's some new teams that have started since we've been around. Well, since my new team has started, and I see they'll have stuff they're posting, and of course they're going to post some stuff because they're excited about stuff. They're posting stuff
Right.
that's borderline evidence, but it's like, you know what? Who cares? You know, they're.
Right.
But I'll see people, and I know who they are because I've known them for years. They'll get on there and just start hacking them, and it's like, no, guys, just leave them alone. Just leave them alone. It's, do your own thing, look after what you're doing, and let your evidence speak for itself. What drives me crazy is I see somebody will hack someone's evidence and then post almost something identical themselves and go, but look at this. It's great. So yeah, I just don't have time for the drama. I just don't. And oh, by the way, yes, we are about an hour north of Toronto, an hour's drive north of Toronto.
My internet must be getting a little wonky, huh?
No, yours is working great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no problems. So I hope it didn't sound like I was getting too controversial there, but I just that's
no. I think most people expect that when that question is asked. We are, and I'm sure you've seen it mentioned, P3, Paranormal Unity, and such, and it's a great concept, and I'm fully behind it. And I do what I can to work towards that and help those work towards it. But I'm a believer that it's really based off of geographical location. The further a team is away from a team, the more support they're going to give you.
You're right. Yes, I guess I've seen that.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So,
and we've had teams come up in our area and where we are located and do investigations. I've done stuff in there and in other teams' areas. It's going to happen. It's who the client reaches out to. That being said, if we get a case that we can't do, I have no problem handing it off to another team saying, hey, did you guys want to look after this one? Because, it's easier for you guys to get to. But it's just all part of it. We're not, it's not a competition. That's the biggest. No. We're all kind of looking for the same answers. We're all trying to have fun doing this. Like, let's be serious. We're having fun doing this.
Oh, yeah.
So, just people just need to get over the drama and just enjoy what we're doing and revel in what we're doing, And you have company.
All right. He's not through.
I'm not alone anymore.
Yeah, I'm in my own little corner of the house,
I got you here with me, so.
I came to the basement. I turned all the lights off. The only light I had was the ring light. He still found me.
Kids are good for that.
Yeah.
I'm upstairs myself, so,
Yeah.
So if you guys were to come to the States, and you both could answer this, is there any one location that, like, I have to go to investigate? Like, is there one prime location you guys would like to check out?
I don't know, because again, we talked earlier, I'm not into going to popular sites. So again, I hope I don't want to offend anybody with that. I'm not criticizing. It's just that's not my thing. So although I think everybody at some point in their life has probably wanted to check out Waverly.
Oh yeah.
But there, but I've heard there's some things going on with Waverly. We hear it up here that there's some things going down with Waverly with new management and stuff. So
Right.
I don't know what's going on there.
There is one. Sorry.
Go ahead.
There is one place, not to investigate, but to experience. I wouldn't mind going to the Civil War battlefield,
Gettysburg.
That's that seems to be very highly active. Just to experience what that feeling is like of that sort of energy with that amount of trauma. Just to have that sort of experience, not to go looking for spirit, but to feel it.
I don't have the ability to sense stuff or whatever other than what is in the equipment and things like that, So I've been to Gettysburg a few times, and yeah, you feel the energy of the people there and such, but to have that other experience, to me, I don't feel it.
I've had people tell me that I, as they put it, you're a medium, and I just keep going, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Here comes the dad joke. I'm a large.
Hi, Heather. I saw that.
Hi, Heather. I'm a large, so I don't know.
That's right. I'm a large. But
I hope you're doing well tonight, Heather.
I'm more of an equipment guy. I'm a total nerd when it comes to building stuff, and just not too long ago, I built our first thing. I guess some people call them a portal box. I just built one of those. Love it, by the way. It's fantastic.
Nice. I see you got some lamps and such next to you. Is that your workbench?
Yeah, that's my workbench. It's all my charging cables all down here. Captain America shield on the wall.
I've been admiring that as well. I got some odds and ends around here. Like I got a
cameras on the floor.
Well, yeah. All my stuff is my computer room is a mess. Well, but I got a Batman mask somewhere around here. Got my Freddy Krueger cup.
Nice. I ran over plugged in. On the other side of the room, I got a Walking Dead lamp. So
Oh, nice. This was a self-made mug. 100 subscriber mug. YouTube wasn't giving me nothing, so I was like, yeah, I need to self-recognize.
Actually, this past Christmas, I had mugs made for the team with our logo on them, but when I gave them out, I said, this isn't actually for the people on the team. This is for everybody's spouses. And on the back of the mug, there's on one side it's our logo, and on the back it says, for a very understanding spouse. That's all the time for doing this sort of thing. This is before you were with us, Mario. Sorry you missed out on that. But I just thought, our spouses put up with so much of us talking. We talk about it all the time. We're taking off on the weekends, doing stuff all the time. I just wanted to acknowledge them. So I got everybody all the spouses a Christmas present this year.
Awesome. I'm pretty sure they appreciate that. We like to have a cookout once a year where the family team members come in and everything and friends, and we just kind of have a little get together like that. Yeah,
we did that this year as well. At one of the we'll pick a team member. Okay, who wants to host it? And then we just all head over and we do like a big potluck and we bring everything over.
I believe this year we're going to be having it at Jason's and his wife's house, Heather. Not Heather, Angel. Their house this year. But so back to the paranormal.
Yes.
If you leave me alone too long, I'll end up in 5 miles away from it.
Right there with you. I do the same thing.
So you said where you'd like to go. You said you're not so much into the whole public places as Waverly. Well, you said Waverly you wouldn't mind so much, but now say if you come to say my neck of the woods, would you like to go to like a cemetery that we find active, or locations like that, or is it like primarily residential?
You know what? If I was going away somewhere on a like visiting like another country, yeah, I would say let's go check it out. If I'm gonna, would I do that locally here where we are? Probably not. But that's just me. People
Right.
on our team would be there in a heartbeat, saying, "Hey, let's go check this out, check that out." Then that's fine too. It's not me. But I'm never going to discourage anybody on our team from doing anything. I'm never going to say, "Hey, no, you're part of this team. You're not doing that." No way. I mean, if you want to check something out, go ahead. But that's just not why I'm into it.
Right.
Now, okay, here's a question: if you came to Canada, where would you like to go?
I don't know much about haunted locations in Canada. Well, I won't say I'm ashamed to know that, but I was just sitting here thinking to myself, I need to research a little bit. I know several teams up there now.
Yeah.
Where I'd probably, if I was going up, I'd say, "Hey, I believe I'm going to be in your area. What do you suggest?"
Yeah.
But as far as like, I don't remember seeing anything like Waverly, Hillview Manor, Penhurst, and places like that.
There isn't, honestly, there's not many in Canada. There's a few places, but there's not a lot. Like in the States, there seems to be a lot of locations that are almost set up for that sort of thing. Like they're almost they invite teams in all the time. There's not a lot of that here in Canada. There's a few places. Picton Heights, it would be one, but I think that property was just sold. The old Angel Inn would be in Niagara Falls. Would be an interesting one to do. I've done it, and that was one. I can't think of his name, but there's basically it's a soldier that was murdered there, that during the War of 1812.
Wow. Both of you, if you guys don't mind answering that, what would you recommend to investigate if we were to go to Canada? You sound like a couple places you were just visiting.
So Fort Henry's the one location, and actually the whole of Kingston seems to be pretty active. The Kingston, yeah.
Now there's a penitentiary in Kingston. Oddly enough, it's called Kingston Penitentiary. Now it's funny. They have tours of that now. They won't let teams come in, and they discourage people from, if you're doing the tour, for bringing stuff with you. Like I went in and I had a K2 in my pocket, and the tour guy went, no, put that away. Okay. Thanks, party pooper. They just really discourage it.
See, now I wonder how stealthy you could get. Like, I got a watch from GameStop that records audio. It looks just like a regular watch, and things like that. You could get slick if you want to.
You could.
That's pretty good, yeah.
I almost got kicked out of Kingston Pen because we were in a common area where they have all the cells around the outside, and there's like the guard station in the middle. And they said to everybody, "Hey, if you want to walk around and look at stuff, go ahead." Well, I found a door that was unlocked, which I guess wasn't supposed to be unlocked, and I went through it, and I'm heading down this hallway, and then one of the staff came over and they caught me, and they said, "Okay, if you go down here again, we're going to ask you to leave the prison."
So it was unlocked. I mean,
you're an explorer. The door was unlocked. They were pretty strict about that. And like I said, I pulled out a K2, and they went, no, please put that away. It's not like I was doing anything bad. It's just a K2, but they were like, "No, we don't want people doing that here."
See, now
it's a shame because it would be a fantastic place.
And in time, they might.
Yeah.
Now, see, I've tried to go into Canada once. They turned me around.
Why?
They said I wasn't allowed in. So I would love to come up, but they told me no on the Peace Bridge.
For what? Did they say why?
Well, I wasn't a big enough celebrity at the time. I don't blame them in all honesty. I kind of joke around with it. This has been many moons ago, even before 2000s, maybe early 2000s. But either way, I walked across from across the Peace Bridge, and I forgot to have any ID with me.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
And I was about halfway over, and I said to the people I was with, there was me and 2 or 3 others, and I was like, I don't have my ID. They're like, maybe they will. No.
Yeah. I know the last time I crossed the border, it was here I am from Canada, and it was easier to get into the States than it was to get back home again.
No, really.
Yeah. It's like, are you bringing anything back? It's like, I'm on a motorcycle, dude. So it's not like I'm bringing a pile of stuff back with me. And
well, I got the Washington monument on the back of the bike, but I was hoping you didn't notice.
Yeah. And then the guy says, "Well, do you want to declare anything?" And I said, and I just found the tail of the dragon in the Smoky Mountains, and I just went, "Yeah, this T-shirt." And then he got mad because he said I was being a smartass. So I don't know. Yeah, it was tougher getting home than it was getting into the U.S. Maybe that's I don't know.
Well, next time if I try, I'll make sure I have ID.
ID is good. ID is good.
So, is there any other country than the Americas that you'd like to visit?
Oh my gosh, I'm in touch with some teams in the UK, and it's funny because it's nothing for them over there to go. We're going to a location that's like 500 years old,
right?
And here, it's like, wow, we're going to a location that's 50 years old. Whoa, we just don't have the history here that we have some older buildings, but I mean, you get a building that's 100 years old. That's like, wow, 100 years. Wow. I don't know if it's the same way down in the US, but we tend to just tear everything down here and rebuild it.
Yeah, I heard that is kind of that way in some of the UK too as well. No, we have buildings here, 1800s, 1700s.
Yeah.
It's for some reason we don't tear stuff down here.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't you know who I am? I'm Mr. Fedora.
That's right.
But yeah, that's like some of the UK teams that says that they don't have a lot of wooded areas either. They got forests, but nothing like what we have. And I know you guys have plenty of forest land as well. So I guess that will lead me to another question: is about cryptids and such. You guys have any interest in the Sasquatch, Yetis, and he's lighting up down here. He's like, oh yeah.
A story with that is my grandson was born on Halloween. So I've got a pile of costumes, and I got this really big furry wolf costume with a big head. One of our friends who's they were convinced that there was such thing as a Bigfoot. So
okay, hold on. Disprove that it's still Bigfoot, Glenn.
Yeah. So
you said, hold on, that there isn't, or there is?
To put this costume on and get the IR camera out and do a video in the front yard of me walking through the front yard with this, and we're going to send it to them. So here I am walking across the front yard, and a car drove by, and they slowed right down, and they're watching me go by, and I just went and waved to them.
Do they do this?
They should. No, they didn't. But they can see. All I can see is the two faces as they're going by, and so that's probably my only experience with Bigfoot is me.
So you don't believe in Bigfoot, Mario, or?
I only okay. I've not had experiences with Bigfoot. I'm not going to say that, but I'm in the camp that we don't have all the answers for everything that's out there. So why couldn't there be something? Okay. The giant 8-foot, 8-man, who knows? We just don't know. I mean,
but you guys have a lot of open area up there that hasn't been touched yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know. We got pretty extreme climate up here in the northern Ontario as well. So
that would be more of the Yeti then.
Yeah, I'm totally on the fence. Like they had in our lake where I live, there were some reports for years there that there was some kind of like almost like a Loch Ness style, and because ice fishermen were getting their lines yanked into the holes, and they were like, okay, well, there's something. Well, it turned out it was a sturgeon.
Oh yeah.
So
those things get to be pretty big, and
they get huge. And what was happening is the sturgeon was just sucking up their lines, and it was pulling everything right into the holes and the way it was going. But of course, the rumor got out that it must be some kind of like a Loch Ness monster style in our local lake, to the point that they were even selling T-shirts. And no,
All it was fishtails then.
yeah.
Like,
So I gotta be careful when I go in the woods. I shave a little bit, and I don't want to freak out people around here.
I think they give it away though. They go, no, he's wearing a hat. No, it's.
I'm a fashionable
hat man.
Yeah,
the Hat Man. There is such a thing as the Hat Man. There is a shadow figure called the Hat Man.
I will have to send you a picture. I've got a picture of him.
See,
Yeah.
Seriously, I'll send you a picture.
This is my point, right? We're investigating the paranormal. We're claiming that ghosts are things. So why are we suggesting that a physical thing may not exist either?
Because I think by this point somebody would have hit one with a car.
Haven't you seen the movie
No.
Harry and the Henderson?
That's right. There we go. Harry and the Henderson. See? Yeah.
I mean, hello. No, but in all reality, though, there's so many square acres of woods, that they wouldn't come towards vehicles and such. Wouldn't you?
I guess you can't say that there's no possibility, but I just, especially in the day and age when everybody has a camera with them. I mean, everybody has a camera on their hip these days.
It's valid. These are valid points.
What's that?
They're valid points you're bringing up. And
let's
always a blurry image.
Now let's take this to a different, and that might even explain the blurriness of some of the stuff. Is what if it's and some people suggest that it's an interdimensional being and shifting off into another portal dimension, whatnot, and that could be kind of why some of it's blurry.
I've heard that. I've heard about that camp that believes that as well. But
he's like,
again,
you're on your own, Mario. You're on your own on this one.
Oh, no. Come on, we're talking about shadow people a second ago.
But we draw the line on the.
I guess I've drawn a line. I mean to it, but I drew a line.
A moment ago, was talking about Hat Man. And,
there was actually, I wish I could find a copy of it, but a few years ago, these two guys made a documentary video, and it was all around this area where we live. And it was about this creature called Bushman. And they did this whole documentary. At the very end, they deduced that Bushman was actually a tree sap farmer from a town nearby.
Well, that's like what's his name, Nick Dodge or whatever, that guy in Seattle that he'll dress up try to make himself look like a Bigfoot and such, scare campers in such way because they're being noisy and littering and all that.
That is not a smart thing to do with that many guns in the forest.
I've thought about that as myself. Was like, yeah, you're really risking it. But then again, how much of it was for TV?
Yeah.
Right.
So that brings up another point.
Oh.
is how realistic do you think TV shows are? Do you think it's purely entertainment, or do you think they have
that way? It's gotten that way. I think the first couple of seasons when Ghost Hunters first came out, they were really something, and then they started to go a little Hollywood. And some of the newer ones now, I mean, I don't want to name any shows because I don't want to blacklist myself from them. I have to admit, some of the shows have gotten, I mean, if you're doing paranormal investigation and something goes thump behind you, you're in the wrong field if you're going to go and run from the room. I mean, come on,
a little startle is understandable sometimes, but but
oh, well, that's interesting, But I mean, some of them put it this way, I was put in touch with a paranormal show, and they did an episode about my house that I still live in right now. And so my wife and I were asked to do these little vignettes. They had actors portraying us, which is fine.
Right. How did they do with that?
Well, I was a little put out because the guy who played me had a huge bald spot right here. No, yeah, that's just me. But so the night they put it on TV, we had people over, we had popcorn, we were all ready to watch this, and I was so embarrassed. I remember getting up and leaving the room because they embellished so badly. It was absolutely horrific. Like, yes, they touched on some points of things that were happening, but I mean, they had it set up where they had special effects where spirits or demons were running up into people's faces and screaming at them and stuff. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, no.
Yeah. I don't like when, I mean, I get it because they're trying to sell a product, but try to keep it close to the original.
But then again, when you do that, and like I've had people come along every once in a while as a guest, and that's great, as a guest. But I think they watch too much TV, and then they don't realize that a lot of the investigation is sitting on the floor in a room with an audio recorder and a camera going and asking a bunch of questions in the dark.
And a lot of those shows are filmed over a week or two as well.
Yeah. And they're combining a week of experience into a half-hour show.
Which is not easy to do because, trust me, I edit our stuff in like 5 or 6 hours. It's hard to get down to a half hour.
Yeah.
So I give them credit.
Yeah. So are you kind of, what do you think? You seem at it? Like, do you find that they're a little unrealistic?
I learn stuff from them, or I try to, even off of horror movies and such. And I agree, first couple seasons were great, especially with Ghost Hunters, where they were really trying to do the right thing, but it got to the point where they knew they were going seasons without really getting anything. So they had to start up in the ante. Now, there's a series on Netflix that just came out, and I was trying to look up some of the names because the people that were on that show, I kind of chat with them on Facebook a little bit.
Is the 28 Days one?
Right. Now, that brought up an interesting thing. I don't know how much of it was staged or not, but that brings up the interesting question of, do you think that would be better to do a lengthy investigation as opposed to a night or a weekend?
I've never watched it, so I don't really have a comment on that because I've never watched the show. You have, Mario?
Yes. So it's
Shane Pittman is one I chat with.
Shane Pittman, Jerome Leonard. There's a few others. I can't remember who was all on there. But it was based on the theory by Ed and Lorraine Warren that the haunting fully reveals itself by the 28th day of occupancy in the space. Whether that's true, I don't know. Whether the show, I don't think they're the type of investigators that would embellish anything. So I would suggest that they are, but I don't know that production wouldn't without their knowledge. So
I agree.
I don't know about the 28 days. I mean, we bought this house and it was day one.
Yeah, so this is the thing. I'm not sure where that sort of sits, really.
And I do want to clarify, when I say I chat with Shane, we're not buddies chatting. I've had a few words with him. I want to clear that up. Nothing more than a quick hey. But I do like the premise of it, because being in places, I know that, like, say the one place we've been to 3 times, I'd say. A couple times we had absolutely nothing. We went back almost to train some of the new members of the group to the place because it's a big building, and kind of learn some spooky aspect down in the basement of the building. But the last time we were there, we got some major activity. I actually was physically attacked.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My left knee felt like you were saying how it was hooked on your back there. Kind of grinding feeling in my knee, like something was just grinding into it and grabbing into it. And that went on for a while. And so if I had 28 days or whatever, the time period a month, how much more could we have figured out in that time?
Yeah.
Now, it's hard to get a location that will be willing to let you be there that long without a major company like Netflix or, those companies.
Now, when you go into here's a question for you. Sorry if I'm interrupting here, but you made me think of something here. This is a big problem with going into locations in Canada. I don't know if it's same in the U.S., but a lot of places, if they will let you in, they won't let you in until you show proof that you've got private insurance, liability insurance for yourselves for the time that you're there. And that can become something that discourages a lot of teams, because you're looking at sometimes up to like $3,000 or $4,000 for a couple of days of insurance to cover your whole team while you're at that location. Well, we're doing this as a hobby. Who's got an extra $3,000 or $4,000 to throw into insurance? Do you run into that in the U.S. at all?
No, I haven't personally, and I haven't really heard anybody else say it. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but about the most I could say in that situation was a background check in like the local school and such. So that kind of stuff. But as far as insurance goes, no.
Yeah, I know some of these that run into it a bunch of times. And
how you doing, Ron? He's another gentleman that has a team up in Canada. Which part of Canada are you in, Ron? You got 2 legs. You're good. Oh, with my okay, I get it now. Yeah, the thing with my knee being hurt that night was I drove standard to the investigation, and it was pretty much to the point where I almost called somebody to come pick me up because I wasn't going to be able to drive, but I pushed through because I only lived about a quarter mile away from the place. Southwest, out of Chatham.
Yeah.
You guys aware of that area?
Yeah.
So, I don't have a clue. But so yeah, that was an interesting building. A place we're not really allowed to discuss what it is, but very historical. I think that building itself was 1800s, I'd say.
Right.
So, now I'm trying to wrap my mind around a couple things on where I'd like to ask. Now, that's interesting about the whole insurance thing.
Yeah, and that's a big deal up here. Like not every building, but it's becoming more and more common where a location will say, okay, you need to show proof of insurance, and that can be very costly. Like I said, I know of a team. They actually were granted access to like a theater, and then they said, "Oh, we have to be insured." And they looked into the insurance. I think the insurance was over $3,000 for the evening.
Wow.
So they just said, "Yeah, no, you can't even divide that amongst the team. Okay, everybody's gonna kick in like $300 or $400? No,
Yeah, your average team isn't.
Yeah, I think there is a lot more hesitancy with this sort of investigating.
Well, they don't want someone tripping in the dark and breaking a leg and being responsible for it.
That's that too. But as you're pointing out, in the States, they're more carefree to that. But over in Canada, I think they're very careful.
Well, guys, please don't say that too loud because we don't want that to come down this way.
I'm hoping for the other way round.
This show's done. We're done.
Cut it off. Yeah.
Here. Let's help. From now on, I will talk the rest of the night. I'll read their lips. They're saying, "No insurances. Nobody asked for insurance anywhere. They'll pay you to investigate." All kidding aside, guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
so, do you think that they should? I mean, I know you're looking from the paranormal side, the team side.
I understand the reasoning. It kind of sucks, but I understand where they're coming from because In some ways, the world's gone a little bit litigation crazy, and you don't want someone you don't want someone coming on your property and like I said, injuring themselves and having all of a sudden your rates are going to go up because you get they're going to you don't want somebody suing you either. Hey, I went on your property and your stairs weren't safe and I busted my ankle. So I can see where it's coming from. It kind of sucks, but Ron's saying he's never our team has never run into it because we don't do a lot of public places, but I know some teams that have.
Now, when you say, Ron, that a group wants to do that, are you talking about a paranormal group or an insurance group or what? And, maybe that's a new line of work you guys should start investing into, is you guys open up your own insurance company specializing in paranormal teams.
And UFO invasion as well.
There we go. Yeah, we got to do that. It's the new thing now, balloons and UFOs. It's all good.
No, our Goodyear blimp put across their thing. Do not shoot us down. We're the Goodyear blimp.
That's good.
Paranormal group. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that's crazy. I guess I just did. But anyways, you have one location that wants commercial general insurance. I've looked into it, but can't get a quote until June, so I have to wait to find out how much it will cost. Is it worth it to get that insurance, or too many lawyers?
I see where they're coming from, but we're in the position to have to worry about it. So,
that was the general question to Judy. The location you want to go to, is it worth the time and the money, or is it not worth it? So those of you that are watching, say yes or say no on if you're willing to pay money for insurance to investigate. So say yes or no on if you're willing to. Fair enough. If it's like $100, there's a few places.
If it's $100, then you split it like 7 ways on a team. It's not that big of a deal. But if you're talking into the thousands, you're going to go,
Right. Now, another branch could be Bigfoot insurance. So in case if you got dismemberment from Bigfoot, your family is
those Wookiees.
Dismemberment.
But
What was that?
The owner of the property would go, "Hey, look, you came on our property, a Bigfoot ripped your arm off. Now I'm responsible for it." So,
that would be the best case scenario. I saw the one article of being Bigfoot sex slave or something like that.
Well, I saw that. I did see that article.
I agree. Ron says, I think we as groups are out enough money because it comes out of our personal pockets. And, that's another thing. And I don't know about you guys, but when you add up the little odds and ends like gas, batteries, if you really want to figure in the electricity for charging your equipment, which most people don't worry about that. If you're going any distance, you got your drinks, your food.
And I know some teams will have their members pay dues monthly.
I've heard that.
I don't, because I'm asking everybody on my team to donate their time, their expertise. They're driving themselves. They're buying food wherever we're going. I'm not going to say, hey, and can you kick in $20 a month for our kitty? No, I can't do that. I won't do that. I do say to everybody, hey, it'd be great to, if you guys buy some of your own equipment, but if you buy your own equipment, that's your equipment. It doesn't belong to the team. So we might all share it, the equipment at times. Yeah, Judy's like, no dues here either. Yeah. And I just the idea of saying, hey, you want to be part of you want to be on our team, but we're going to bill you monthly for it. I can't do that. I just can't do it.
Now, see, I will say that not many teams will complain about putting in the batteries and such because we enjoy doing this and we enjoy helping out clients, especially residential. So when we're saying this stuff, I believe I speak for everybody that's saying something. it's not that we're not wanting to or willing to do this stuff. This is just stuff that people don't think about when they see us out and about doing what we do. Now, my caveat with dues, so our team doesn't do it. Based on the team, I'm willing to say if they handle the dues appropriately, if I could say that. I guess I could kind of see it like, okay, we're saving up for this DVR system. It costs $500. If we all have the monthly due of $20, within 4 months, we'll have this group equipment.
Yeah.
So I guess I could kind of see it that way. And that's me showing a little leeway for teams that do it. As well as, yeah, it was in my mind, and then I talked myself right out of it.
So I have to bring up. Hey,
yeah, not a problem.
Two cats that decided they're going to beat the crap out of each other.
Go ahead.
No, they're good. They're good. As soon as I look at them,
so yeah, it's just things that that outside of paranormal teams they don't realize happens.
Yeah,
now,
it's funny because some people will say to us, "Well, you do that? You don't charge any money for it. How do you pay for all your equipment?" Well, I don't know. I know people that collect old cars, and that's their hobby, so they don't mind. This is what we do. This is our passion. This is what we do. So I don't mind spending money, and I do. And I will say that Facebook Marketplace is your friend.
and when you look for stuff, when you look for stuff on Amazon and such, do not put in ghost hunting or paranormal equipment or anything along those lines, because that's going to double and triple the price of what you're paying.
Yep, I've noticed that. Do you have down in the U.S., we got a webpage up here, a website called Kijiji. Is it down in the U.S. as well?
I haven't seen it, no.
I didn't know if it's just a Canadian thing, but it's kind of like eBay, but it's like a massive garage sale. You're not bidding on it, like they're not taking multiple bids. People just put stuff for sale on there that's used. And I've found some amazing deals on that site, like I said, on Facebook Marketplace, and repurposing stuff. And the equipment that we've got, a lot of it, we just build ourselves. Like I've built several REM pods now.
Nice.
And YouTube is your friend for figuring out how to do it.
You know, there's a guy on TikTok that I found that I just bought a REM pod from. Our first true REM pod, and it's in the Ghostbusters car, Ecto 1.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. His name is, you can find him. He's got Scooby-Doo machine and several other varieties.
Right.
Is Tim's REM pods.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We'll look him up.
The price ain't too bad. I put my order in, and he delivered it pretty quick, reasonable. I think he builds them as ordered, so it does take a couple of days. But
there's also that site called Ghost Stop. Okay, now there are not really any Canadian sites that sell stuff. There are some sites, but all they're doing is they're buying from the U.S. and then bringing it up, and then of course we're trying to buy it with the Canadian peso. So with the exchange rate, so you might see something on their site, but then you got to pay for the exchange. And then from what I understand, I know some people that bought from them, they're also paying on top of it, they're paying duty.
Wow.
So so any way that I can make my own stuff, I'd rather just do that before I went out and bought something pre-made.
When you guys paying way more than we do, if it's from the state,
the exchange, and then the duty on top of that, plus then you're paying the tax on it up here.
Right. And I've been through GameStop, and I'm actually affiliate. I don't ever do much with it, and so that's on me. But they have excellent customer service.
Oh, they do. I know people have dealt with them, and I'm not calling them down by any means. I'm just saying,
right?
It's
just financially speaking.
Financially, it doesn't work just because of shipping up from the States, and really there was a guy here in Canada that was doing it for a while. He just shut down a few years ago, and now you're limited. You're either going to Europe or you're going to the States for stuff.
Well, you see the market. You have the ability. There's some extra income for your group.
True enough. We can put our logo on it and everything.
People have done a lot more.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? We're approaching the 2 hour mark.
Yeah.
I think we could probably wind it down with the thought of maybe not in 2 years, maybe a little quicker. You guys come back.
Yeah, well, actually, we're starting. We've only done 2 over the last year, but we're starting to do this sort of thing ourselves. So maybe next time we'll get you to be a guest on our show.
I'd be happy to.
All right.
I hesitated for some time doing it, but I'm starting to get more into it, more comfortable with myself. You know, I'm the guy that likes to be behind the camera, but nobody else in the group wanted to do this, so here I am.
Well, I really appreciate the invite, really do, and thanks for coming out as well, Mario.
Yeah, maybe next time have the whole team on. There's enough room for everybody.
Okay.
And then I'll just sit back and I'll mute myself and let y'all just have a wonderful time on the show.
Sure.
But I really do appreciate you guys being here and making it for a wonderful night. I'm actually, when I'm done here, there's another group that's doing a show that I'm going to jump on. Well, not jump on, but watch and listen to. Chautauqua Area Paranormal Society, CAPS for short. They'll be on Facebook. Brand new group, young kids. They're doing, they're really great. Well, young to me.
Yeah.
They're not kids, but so if you guys are bored, look them up on Facebook. They're pretty good. Okay. But thank you, and I'll stop saying goodbye and see you all soon.
All right, you take care of yourself.
Bye, guys.
Okay, bye.
Well, guys, another wonderful night with our friends from the north. They make this look so easy and good because they have so much to say and such wonderful insights and things on the paranormal world and just in general. It's always pleasant to chat with them on and off the show. We have several other teams that jumped on and are wanting to be part of the show. So it looks like we'll be able to have guests for the next month or two. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And it was definitely a great show. Thanks for everybody coming in and watching with us. Yeah, I was kind of watching too. But thanks for watching, and make sure you keep checking back because you never know when I just do random stuff as well. So with that being said, be kind to each other, and as always, stay safe.
Well, hey everybody, thanks for stopping down and appreciate the visit. Now get the hell off of my porch. We'll see you the next time. Come on back.